Hey y'all, it's me, Kevy. This week, I did a buddy read with Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf. For the first time, we read something that was not Agatha Christie. We decided to read one of her contemporaries, Ngaio Marsh. Marsh began writing mysteries in 1934 with her debut novel, A Man Lay Dead. She had recently read some Christie and Dorothy L. Sayers and thought to herself, I wonder if I can do that. Spoilers. She can't. Marsh's detective, Roderick Allen, appears in all 33 of her novels, published up through her death in 1982. I was really excited to give this a read, and for the first time experience this other author from the golden age of detective fiction. Before we get into the book, though, can I just say how much I love this cover? It reminds me of the work of Chicago artist Roger Brown. Roger Brown is part of a Chicago art collective called the Chicago Imagists. Imagism was essentially Chicago's take on pop art, happening concurrently. I love Roger Brown's work. He's best known for these abstract cityscapes with these blue arches that could be hills or clouds. The Chicago Imagists were a monumental fixture in Chicago's art scene in the 60s and 70s. As far as I know, though, the Imagists didn't have much success outside of Chicago, not like pop art had. Also, being a gay man in the 80s, Roger Brown suffered the same fate as many of his queer brothers, losing his life to AIDS. This haunting image is a tribute to those gays lost to AIDS. The skeleton's hat indicating it's a member of the leather community, and the blue arches replaced with dark red concentric circles, symbolizing their tainted blood. After his death, he willed everything he had to the Art Institute of Chicago, and his apartment was so full of all this beautiful art that the Art Institute decided to make it its own museum, now called the Roger Brown Study Collective. So many of our queer elders were lost during that time, along with so much of our history. So forgive me for interjecting this queer art history lesson into the middle of this Ngaio Marsh review. But if I don't keep his memory alive, who else is gonna? A Man Lay Dead started off with a really strong premise. A group of people are invited to this guy's home to play a murder game. You know, like pretending you're in a detective novel, but IRL. Someone is the murderer, someone's the victim, and everyone else has to work together to figure out who done it. So they're playing this game, but then when they find the victim, it turns out he's dead for real. Sadly, the premise is about all this book does right. All of the motives are obvious and transparent. The suspects are divided amongst two groups: the Red Scare Russian commies and those affected by the victim's love affair. The only two suspects not part of either group are our protagonist Nigel, the victim's cousin, whose motive was that he was his cousin's primary benefactor. The other is Nigel's love interest, Angela, because of course there's a love interest, and Angela has no known motive. The victim had been stabbed with a rare Russian dagger which had been gifted to him and was showing off during the party. The Russians present felt like he didn't have rightful claim to own this dagger, and the host of the party was desperate to have it for himself. The victim was also seeing one woman while having an affair with a married woman while not doing a very good job of hiding it from her husband. So those are the motives of everyone in the house. Detective Roderick Allen immediately assumes for some reason that Nigel and Angela could not have done it. So he takes them into his confidence and has them help with the investigation. The investigation itself is really messy and hard to follow. I repeatedly fell asleep while trying to read it. It was just not good. Then they have the entire subplot about Red Scare bullshit, people getting kidnapped and shit, and none of it has to do anything with the murder at all. Yet some more bullshit ensues, and then we find out who done it. Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's Angela, right? I mean, it's got to be Angela. She's the only one with no clear motive. She's been very close to the protagonist and the investigator, who take her innocence for granted, and at several points she has either found or held on to important evidence. As a regular detective fiction reader, this is clearly the direction the book should be going, and would at least provide a satisfying ending to this terrible novel. But nope, it's not Angela. It's the husband of the married woman. Why? Because they're having money troubles, which was never mentioned before. Also because the guy was fucking his wife, which I mean made him the most obvious suspect from the beginning. All of the essential clues were kept from us until it was solved. So there was no way for us to figure it out ourselves except with the lucky guess. Why did Niall Marsh make him the killer? Oh, it's such a stupid ending. I really hated this book. My hatred of it is almost on par with that of The Clocks. It was so bad. Most of the time it was really slow going, but then when there was any action, it was done so poorly and confusingly, it was very hard to follow. The characters were not developed at all. They were hollow shells without any substance, and half of them were only there as anti-Russian propaganda. One of the only things I liked about this book was that in the first few chapters, Niall Marsh was channeling Mary Roberts Rinehardt's Had I But Known style of mystery writing, alluding to the horrible things about to happen. Unlike Rinehardt, though, whose stories build and build, so there's always more tragedy to allude to, nothing of consequence occurred after the murder, so the bit of writing style I enjoyed dissipated afterwards. Another thing that really set me off was at the very end when Roderick Allen refers to himself as the Great Detective, as if he is on par with Hercule Poirot or Sherlock Holmes. Who the fuck does he think he is? Rather, who does Niall Marsh think he is? He wasn't a great detective. He wasn't even a good detective. Since the most obvious person was the killer, if he was any good, he should have been able to solve it the day of the event, instead of drawing it out into this hellscape. Poirot gets to be cocky, because he is brilliant when he solves his cases. Roderick Allen ain't shit. It was bad. And of course, there's that whole subplot with Nigel and Angela getting together. In a better book, I could excuse it. But I just hate everything about it right now. I went into A Man Lay Dead really excited and hoping it would be a good mystery. Instead, it was a miserable time and may have turned me off Niall Marsh entirely. Have any of y'all read her and had a different experience? If so, please let me know which of her books you enjoyed, because there's absolutely no way I will read her again without a strong recommendation. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if it pleases and sparkles, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!